All right, good morning and welcome to ABSA's Ready to Work platform. It gets very exciting on Thursdays like this when we have to sit and discuss things that have to do with your work life and, of course, building the soft skills in you to be able to fit in the world of work. My name is Eskin. I'm known as Rev. I work with Y107.9 FM. I'm always here interacting with my guests to help you build on your skills. So if you've been on the Ready to Work platform since we started, you definitely would know how progressive we've been. We've started off with touching a few things you need to know while you're in school, crossing over to the world of work, the things that need to be seen as very important in your journey. Of course, savings as a culture, investment, we've dealt into all of that. But today we are going to branch into something different, something a bit more different. But for the sake of my first-time viewers and, of course, listeners, the ABSA Ready to Work platform is a toolkit that was designed by ABSA to basically provide young people with the needed skills to help them transition from the world of work, from the world of school into the world of work. And the tool provides some materials, a lot of materials on things that will help you develop your work skills, your people skills, your money and entrepreneurial skills, which is the main reason why we're here today. Now, it is an online platform, so you choose the pace at which you want to study, and it's totally free. So you can study with us on your tablets, like what I have here, on your mobile phone, on your PC. So while you're at work, doing your break time, while away time, you can just, get on there and then learn a lot for yourself. Now, today's going to be a special one. I'm very much interested in the topic of entrepreneurship because for so many years, people have said so much. We've had people come out to share worst experiences about entrepreneurship and that. But ABSA thinks today is the right moment for us to dive straight into entrepreneurship, the things that you need to know, how you need to equip yourself. Everybody wants to become an entrepreneur, but do you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur? Are you ready to be an entrepreneur? Are you on the right path if you are in the entrepreneurial field as well? All these are questions we're going to get answers from. Of course, I'm not doing this alone. Let me quickly introduce to you my guest for this morning. Mrs. Audrey Abaka is the head of SMEs, Agency Banking and Partnership at the ABSA Bank Ghana. She's very passionate, and I know that for sure. She's passionate about women and youth development and, of course, growing startups and MSMEs. And then also, Ms. Kukua Adams is the CEO, founder of Clay Group. It's a management consultancy firm that provides tailor-made solutions for brands and SMEs to scale up their business. She is passionate about helping the early stages of growing your business. And so these are two very, very experienced people when it comes to the term entrepreneurship. So we're going to make it happen this morning. But you are a part of this. We're not doing this alone while we're here. You're watching us on Facebook via ABSA's page. If you're joining us on Zoom, if you have a question, kindly just type it in the comment box. The team will pick it up and then, share so we can get your answers going. So let's just get straight to business. I'm very excited about this. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Welcome to Ready to Work.
Thank you.
I think Ms. Abaka, it's not right me saying welcome to you because this is your field already. But I want us to start off by, of course, breaking a bit off the ice on entrepreneurship. Let me start off with you, Kukua Adams.
Okay.
When you hear the word entrepreneurship, knowing all that you know today, how do you define it? Or if someone asks you what entrepreneurship is, not the one I learned in my economics in Legon. You are on the field. What is entrepreneurship?
I mean, entrepreneurship, simply put, is starting a business.
Okay.
And just to add on to what entrepreneurship is also identifying a need in wherever you find yourself, maybe a society, and then also being able to identify if you truly have a solution to that need. So in a nutshell, that's what entrepreneurship is.
Okay. And Mrs. Abaka, sorry.
Yes, so from my perspective, entrepreneurship is where someone has the ability to conceptualize a business idea.
Okay.
And then translating that idea into a business venture and having the capacity to manage that business to profit.
I like that. I like that. And so I think a lot of people are at the face of moving it from being just a problem-solving venture
into idea stage, ideation stage,
Great. So let me just get a bit off it. Do you guys think Ghanaians understand the concept of entrepreneurship? You've come across a lot of SMEs. You are focused on helping startup brands at their early stage. Do you think when people come to you, having all the skills that they have, they really understand the concept of entrepreneurship? Yeah.
So most of the time, the clients that we meet, you realize that it's more of a very simple idea. But what we also look out for at Clay is businesses that can be able to impact, can be able to run sustainably, and, you know, of course, eventually generate profit.
Yes.
But most of the time, it's more of just a simple idea. I think I have this idea. I think I want to be able to make this happen. But as to what really goes into it is that, well, that's where we come in to be able to guide you and then, you know, mold you so you can be able to excel, basically.
Yeah, so if you look at the Ghanaian landscape, you know, everywhere you pass, you see small and medium businesses. You know, they are everywhere. And it's an indication that Ghanaians are entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
They have that ability to start businesses and then run it. What has not worked for us as a country is, you know, these entrepreneurs taking their business from one level to the other.
Yeah.
So you notice that they start, but they are able to run the business at a very lower level for a sustained period of time. And those that are able to scale it up are those that eventually open up for help and also get help, okay, in terms of like what you do, the capacity building, the direction, the coaching, the guidance, and then also when they get access to funding, then they are able to scale up their businesses to the level where they can now build upon it and then grow sustainably. So yes, I think Ghanaians are enterprising, if I should put it like that.
Okay, I like that. It means it's promising.
Exactly.
Okay, so the topic for today is unlocking the power of entrepreneurship, and so we're going to go into the deeps at this point, just so people understand how important entrepreneurship is. Generally, how do you think, or how much of a contribution is entrepreneurship to every economy? I'll start with you, Mrs. Abaka.
Yes, like I indicated, if you take the Ghanaian economy as an example, they are everywhere, okay? And nations, economies have been built on the back of these small and medium enterprises. That is why it is commonly said that they are the backbone of every economic development. So they are very, very important and crucial to our economy's growth. Okay, and development. In Ghana, it is estimated that if you take our GDP, the SMEs contribute over 70% of that. When it comes to private sector employment, it is estimated that they contribute about 80% of that. Just think about that. If you look around us, where we are seated, the chair that we are sitting on, the table, this nice edifice, if you look around the buildings, the roads, the cars, all of these are available for you and I, our consumption and enjoyment because of them. So they are very important and they contribute immensely to the economy of this country.
Great. Miss Adams.
Yes, Adams.
So let me switch your question a bit. When these small, medium enterprise or companies come to you, do you feel they know the power? They know how much of contribution they are putting into our economy? Do they have it?
So sometimes, I mean, some people do because of, let's say, their bigger picture. But most of the time, I think even with some of us, when we started our business, I think it was more of the need to really just not stay at home and just get going. So you realize that some of us eventually learn as we go. Because when we started, I mean, there was nothing related to how we're impacting the economy, GDP, all of that. But as time elapsed, we realized that, okay, we're really adding value in what we're doing. And if we're able to also grow as a business and, you know, help other businesses also grow as we are, we can be able to contribute to the economy. Because at the end of the day, we're looking at new markets, we're looking at new businesses, and we as individuals, we are honing our skills to be able to add value to our economy.
Great, that's beautiful. Now, still on the concept around entrepreneurship, okay, let me just switch on the different side of it. You've come across a lot of SMEs, you mentor people, you basically help people transition from the startup point into actually running a business. What do you think are some of the challenges these small, medium-scale enterprises or these entrepreneurs are facing? Let me not switch it.
Okay.
Entrepreneurs, what are the challenges?
Should I do?
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
so let me
Yeah.
come in here. So number one, I will focus on the number one challenge, that I always encounter that,
Okay.
access to funding.
Funding.
Everywhere I have stood to speak, it has been a major concern or challenge that has come up, and you can read about it everywhere it is said so. Now, a lot of businesses start without getting initial capital
Okay.
or financial support. And especially when they start, some of them have the expectation that the banks, the commercial banks,
Yeah.
must immediately come in
And
to
buy into
support
the
them.
idea.
But it
Yeah.
doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
We are heavily regulated,
Yeah.
okay? And the money that we lend out, they are not our money. They are depositors' money, and they have to be taken care of. We are custodians of that. So if we are giving that money out, we need to ensure or make sure and get that comfort that that money will return to us. So in terms of initial startups, okay, we don't support startups until you are at a certain level where we see that you are very serious.
Yes.
There is some level of consistency in your turnovers.
Yeah.
You understand? So in APSA, we are very interested in the youth, okay, and their entrepreneurial skills and ability to start a business. So we were the first bank to have launched a startup proposition that come. Open an account with us. We'll give you certain services for free so that you don't, think about spending money on your account transactions. We will build your capacity. We would provide you mentoring and coaching opportunity so that you get to learn how do you manage your business, structure it, and then bring it to a level where we can now financially support you. So it's a big challenge for them, okay? And the good thing is that now, because of the You Start project that is coming up, so if you are watching me and you are a student, you are a startup and you have been struggling, it's been a big challenge for you to access funding, you would want to read about this You Start thing and how you will stand to benefit from it, because that will provide finance to the startups, even at the ideation stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
I think you've answered that.
Exactly.
She told us the challenge, and then she's given us these solutions as well. I think I can still put this in. Are brands like yours, and let me just look at the general system. Do people invest in ideas or businesses? If you have an idea, if you have a plan to be an entrepreneur, and you have a beautiful idea, and it sounds so good, your projections are right, everything is perfect. Would you access funding? I think I should take it from the apple. Would you be able to access funding, or you need to run a business with the idea first before you can get funding?
I mean, for me, I think that funding an idea is still viable.
It's still viable.
Because some may just have the idea, but that push will be able to see it into reality and then see that it's beginning to work and beginning to add value in whichever way you're operating. So definitely once it's in the idea stage, and I mean the pitching, whatever process it goes through is solid, definitely you should be able to fund it.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So let me also add to that. So 2 things. Ideas that are very viable, okay, you can get funding for that.
Great.
Today we have development partners who are interested in the youth, who are very creative and have the ability to ideate, okay, and come up with a viable business, and they provide things like grant. Okay. So there are institutions that have funding from these development partners who work with these youth at their idea stage, incubate it, and then bring the idea into a place where they can launch it into a business, and then provide some level of grant, okay, to start it. Now, with the financial institution, because of the risk of most of these ideas not crystallizing into a very sustainable business, and eventually the person not able to pay, okay, we'd rather want to invest in your capacity building, helping you build a strong commercial mind, business acumen to be able to run that. So now you are seeing banks partnering with these development partners like we have done. We were the first in the market to have partnered with MasterCard Foundation. And as I speak, we're going to run a project where we have money set aside. Okay, it's going to be a grant for fintech youth businesses. Okay, so and as long as your idea is solid, you come and pitch it, you have the opportunity to access some of these grants.
That sounds good.
Very.
So I just love the fact, so this is why I asked this question, just so we don't throw people off. I say this because I watch a lot of conversations on entrepreneurship, and outright we go into what they need to do, but the big question is actually, how do I do it? And the challenges that they go through if they've already begun the journey. And so I just wanted us to touch on the challenges, which you've done perfect with. You gave us the main challenge and then how we can actually go around
But there are a couple of them, you know, if we have time.
No, I think you might want to add some as well.
I think another one is the need to, scale up too quickly. A lot of businesses don't want to go through the organic process because it's very tiring, and it's mind, consuming. It's a whole mental game,
whole journey.
And it's one of those journeys that you won't only need, let's say, a support system, but you as an individual should be ready. You are constantly convincing yourself and motivating yourself. And I think this goes down to you being an individual who is resilient, and you should be able to be a progressive thinker as well. Because once you're unable to understand, all these things, it's always a challenge. Very, very, very difficult.
Great. Now, let's talk about the student bit of it. Entrepreneurship is obviously, from all we've shared, a very important part of our growth as an economy, our growth as individuals. But at what point should young people start discussing entrepreneurship? When does it become important for you? Is it when you are less busy at home, like you mentioned? Is it when you're not enjoying your internship? Is it when you're in the course of your study and you find a solution or a problem that you think you can solve? At what point should the discussion begin?
So in 2018, Clay had the opportunity to join Junior Achievers program, where this was targeted at students who are in senior high school. And I think that initiative was very good because once you're in high school, we believe that you can be able to make some concrete decisions. So starting at least once the individual or the student is in high school, I mean, they understand these things, they know what's happening on the internet, they have, engaging conversations. So at that point, it is only, prudent to be able to assume that once you are in high school, then you should be able to start having conversations around entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I just want to add to this. I think that the moment you discover an interest area or a passion that can be commercialized, that is, an indication that you need to start having some level of conversation. So, for example, if you are a student and you have an interest in sewing, okay, and it comes naturally to you, you don't struggle to cut the material, piece it together, and then make a very beautiful, simple dresses. It's an indication. Everything is telling you that you have that talent, that skill. I had a very good friend on campus. She was academically intelligent. So right from school, she went to do her master's and then went to do the PhD. Then one day she calls me and tells me that I'm coming down to go to Joyce Abbeville. I never understood her. But she came back and told me that, Audrey, at a point, I realized that this has been a passion area for so long. When I was growing up, nobody taught me how to sew. I could sew myself. If I had that understanding that it is something that I could leverage to start a business, I wouldn't have, spent money. So she spent all those, I'm not saying she wasted it, but eventually when she zoomed into her interest and passion area, I'm telling you, she was able to build a very good, classy, fashion business at East Legon. And she makes very good clothes. Most of my clothes, she did it for me.
And a lot of money.
Because she knows how to make money, so she was able to scope her target group and decided to pitch at East Legon and build that business. So when you are at that stage, if you are singing, it's an indication you can develop a business from that talent.
So the whole idea is if you're passion-driven about something, or if you find deep passion in something and
exactly your talent,
exactly,
you can commercialize your talent.
I think that's the word,
Yes.
commercializing.
Exactly.
Yes. Because
The way you speak,
Yeah.
your strength is on your tongue.
I think I should sing,
Yes.
So no wonder you are in the media, exactly, the media field. And I'm sure as you moderate it's a business. You are into
Exactly.
business.
Yeah.
You
And
make money from that.
I agree with you personally, because I found myself studying, and I've mentioned this on this platform so many times. I did economics and did political science. I did a double major with that. And then before I even got to level 300, I told myself, you know what, I have deep passion in media and then broadcasting. So I'd just veer up a little bit and still focus on what I'm doing, which is a very important part of what I think we will be discussing today. People not throwing what they're in off totally. Because I've seen people quit their jobs.
Yes.
One out of maybe a 10
Will survive.
will survive. But you still need that grounds to stand on. So I still stayed in there, studied. And then by the time I was done with uni, I had a job on the side. And I just had to decide whether I'm going to add on to it or not. And we're here today and it's working.
To even add to what you're saying, for me, naturally, I'm just an organized person. So even if till date, when you come to my room, my bed is laid, I'm wearing my shoes in a certain order. So I think Clay, in its sense, was birthed from just the need to actually get things in order.
Yeah.
And to even add to what you even mentioned, I didn't study anything related to internal audit. I started, my background is actually from home economics. Then I did banking and finance in the university. And now I find myself restructuring businesses. We're offering internal audit services, accounting, inventory management. Things I learned and then had to eventually teach the team and we're able to do now.
Wow. Now, on to the big one. What makes an entrepreneur a successful entrepreneur? Or what are some of the, I think we should just take it from this angle, the characteristics of a good entrepreneur. What skills should we add on to our already acquired skills if we want to be a successful entrepreneur?
Okay, so what I have observed, having interacted with many of such individuals, you know, some of the things that runs through, they are very curious. They have a
need to find more.
exactly. They have a curious mind, and when they encounter problems or challenges, they don't look at it negatively. Their curious eyes and mind see opportunities.
Yes.
So they move into the state of interrogating with the aim of generating the right solution. And once they land on that solution, they commercialize it. Okay, so that is one characteristic. And then also, those people, they are visionaries. Those that are successful. We are not talking about successful one. They have the eyes to see the end from the beginning. So they can
have foresight.
See, exactly. They can see the next 5 years. Okay, whatever I'm going to start, it would be this. It would get to this level. And once they're able to see, they sacrifice initial pleasure.
That's very important.
Okay, they sacrifice initial, they sacrifice their sleep. If they have money, they would invest.
Double up on the work.
If they have friends, they need to let go.
They
have to. If they have to cut down the number of hours they stay on social
media,
that's
the point where they
so
look
that
crazy.
they can focus. Exactly, they can focus on their business because you need time to build a business. So if you want to be an entrepreneur and then you are so much engaged with all manner of things that do not really benefit you commercially, then you are joking. So that is who they are. They are persistent. They don't give up.
I like how you punch on
they don't give up. You see, and failure does not end their course. They fail, they continue until they break through.
They restructure.
So let me just give these three and allow my sister to
just to add, just to add to what Audrey is saying. And then another characteristic, the main one is that you realize that they are continuously looking for solutions to make the world a better place. So it never stops. Well, maybe until, they return to their maker, but there's that edge, there's that consistency where
to keep things going,
keep things going, yes.
And using the word consistency, what came to my mind is they consistently develop themselves.
I like that. They never stop learning.
They never
stop growing.
Because you see, in the generation in which we are, knowledge has expanded. So if you sit there and do not abreast yourself, increase and then increase your level of knowledge.
Broaden your horizon,
you would be stuck.
And things are fast moving.
So that is why those people, they open up to every learning opportunity. When they hear there is a coaching in it, they jump on it. When they hear there isn't, they jump on it. I'm sponsoring SMEs for free. through this whole MCF project, and some of them will not attend.
Yeah.
But those that are coming and taking it seriously, I can predict their future.
Yeah.
Because they are adding to what they know. And the world is changing very fast.
Very fast.
How do you adapt if you don't know?
If you don't know. Wow. I'm inspired, you know. At this point, if I didn't have a bit, and I'm picking these things myself because, you know, put aside the fact that I'm sitting here having a conversation with them, I also run a business, you know, on my own, and I know some of the deeps when it comes to these things. You might be out there thinking, okay, how do I even jump off, you know, the wagon and then get into the zone that I'm being motivated to get in?
Yeah.
The answers are here, and of course, beyond this, the answers are on Ready to Work by APSA. All these are things that we show you. Now, let's move on straight. We've touched on the characteristics of a good or a successful entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm in the journey. I'm on the startup stage. What are some of the things I need to consider in order to make my startup or my entrepreneur journey a beautiful one? I have the characteristics, but what do I need to put into my work to make it a successful one? The business.
The business. So let me just start from an angle where I'm just about to start. Now, there's one of these things where we've noticed with the businesses that come to us, especially the very green ones. You realize that we don't even understand the types of businesses we have here in Ghana. And the tax implications of those businesses. Now, it may seem like it's not a very valid, you know, point, but the type of business you register now is going to tell what's going to happen in 5 years. And I mean, before we even started, these were some of the conversations I was, you know, sharing, where we're going on about what it even means if you're running, let's say, a limited liability.
Yes. People don't really get that.
And even with partners, we've had issues, or we've had, you know, problems where two people have come together to start a business, but they realized that they were better off as friends than business partners. And it may seem like, you know, it's one of those issues that you may think is not a problem, but it really affects the business as a whole. Because if both of you are unable to agree, and you're even unable to identify whose strength, who is good at managing money, who is very good at, you know, maybe doing the sales, it becomes a huge
Or maybe you don't have
problem.
the same goal.
Exactly.
You're not seeing, you're not buying into the future of the...
So it's an idea, but already there's a problem between, let's say, business partners. Or maybe I have my idea, but I thought I could register it as maybe a sole proprietor. But then because of the type of business it is and the type of market I need to go into, it means I should have registered as a limited liability to be able to win some bids. But people don't know all these
So you
things.
need to research into what you're getting
it's
into.
very important.
Okay.
It's very, very important. And then you also need to identify what the problem is, and do people really need it?
Which people...
Otherwise...
I think that is where the business bit comes in, because
Yes.
if you have a solution and people can't buy into it, that's a business
And how
for
you're
nobody.
even able to sell or convince people to patronize your services or your products.
So I pick research from that, good marketing
So
skills.
research,
and then,
and then also your target audience.
Yes.
You need to be very clear.
Yes.
So you have an idea, you have a solution.
Yeah.
Okay, who would pay for that
service or
solution?
product.
Study the terrain, pretty much.
Yeah.
No, so it comes under the research, you
Yeah.
know. And let me talk about, you know, the customer. It's very important.
Yeah, I think we've
because-
left them out.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, but that is a very important component, you know, for every business, whether you are a startup. Because you see, Eskin, it is so expensive to acquire new customer, especially when you are starting. Who
Yeah.
knows
And it's
you?
a new idea, yeah.
Exactly, who knows you?
Yeah.
So you need to build a skill of being able to even do your cold calls, pitching your
Yes.
ideas and
Yeah,
your
yeah.
solution to the customers to buy in. And once you are able to get even one customer,
Yes.
Build on that.
this country, the culture of service is, you know, virtually non-existent. Now it's picking up.
It's picking up, yes, it's
When
getting better.
you struggle to get one client, you hold the customer like an egg.
Yes.
And make sure that you manage that customer in such a way that that customer now becomes your net promoter.
Yeah.
To now promote you to his friends and families, his or her network,
Yeah.
to get you. Because when you are a startup, what will work for you is word of mouth.
Yes.
It's not the
Yes.
media. They can't come and pay
Oh,
for
no,
your
no,
services.
it's true.
So what will work for you is the word of mouth.
Treat your customer well, and then they spread the word for you. They bring you more
because
customers.
that is the
That's very simple.
cheapest. That is the cheapest
Cheapest
way
for
of
marketing.
promoting
Wow.
your business. And as a startup, where would you get the money to go to Joy or Fun or come
and
to
pay
you to,
for?
So you leverage your client. And what they also need to do is the networking, because it is said that your network is your net worth. You understand? They need to build that skill of being able to connect with people. So if you are watching me and you are an introvert and so as for me, I don't know how to connect with people and you want to be an entrepreneur, there is what we call learned behavior. You have to learn. Because out of the network, you get that one client. Out of that customer, you get your 10, your 15, your 20. And you are building your customer base.
Very. I mean, a few years back, I would have never taken an opportunity like this. But even with some of us, you have to learn, because at the end of the day, if you don't put yourself out there and you're unable to even speak, you know, just to go with what you're saying you're offering, then it becomes pointless. There are a lot of things. It's a whole cycle. A lot of things have to tie into for you to be able to get to a certain level. And as she rightly said, if you're an introvert, well, how will you even convince me to look at your product to begin with?
I mean, and from the customer point of view, these are very real things, you know. You see someone start a business and you are legitimately interested in buying into the service they offer. Let's pick a tailor, for instance. So I see a brand on Instagram or Facebook, and he looks promising. I mean, his outfits on there, the designs I've seen, I've not really had it, but they look nice. And then I contact you trying to get your services, and you are proving you are busy, you are too busy, you're not picking my calls, you know, all that. You told me you're going to deliver on Wednesday, and you didn't deliver, and you couldn't even communicate to me. All these are small things people don't consider, but they do go into how your brand grows, how the startup you're trying to push into the future grows. And beyond that, have you studied the terrain? You're sewing kaftans, let's say in where? You're sewing kaftans in Iceland. You know, people would wear it, but then Iceland. 11 out of the 12 months, they're in winter. And so you study the terrain. This is not to say you can't do, I mean, you can, but study and see if you have a customer base in what you're doing. I'm just breaking down what they've said so far. Study the market you're trying to venture into. Research into making yourself stand out. Yes, and understand how to even deal with customers. In all this, you're building a good portfolio. You have one customer. You're able to get returns from the customer by providing your services. Then I think at the long run, you will be able to access funding from someone, because nobody really wants to invest in who is buying what you're selling. You don't have an answer. And you're not able to keep these people because you don't treat them right, because you think you own the company and the customer should not always be right. These are the things that they're touching on.
So, Eskin, sorry I have to, come in. Well, I just don't want to lose my line of thought. Because we are speaking to students, one important factor is they have to plan how they will fund their business. Okay. You know, there are certain things that are not realistic. That you pick an idea and say, I'm going to a particular commercial bank and say they should fund it. So right from the beginning, if you know that you have that interest to start a business, okay, plan, how am I going to fund it at the first phase of my business? Initially, most people, what they have done is their families are available. They can share because they are the best people to pitch your initial ideas.
If your family will buy it, it means nobody will buy it.
Exactly. So your families, your friends, and then your savings. If you are somebody that gets some money, sometimes you see students buying very expensive phones.
They need to catch up.
Exactly, wearing very expensive clothes, bags. You see, if you want to be an entrepreneur, like I indicated, you sacrifice your initial pleasure. You save some capital. And then when that idea is very valuable, possibly you've got some help, they've shaped it for you, then you invest that savings plus what you get from your family, your friends, and then you start. Okay. Yes, if I may say, so by the time you come to me, so I can now push you.
I even know people who get jobs. They get extra jobs. I know friends in school who wanted to start their company so bad they didn't have funding. I mean, they were not earning enough to be able to save.
And then
so they just
some money
get a job on the side, because whatever it is that they're earning will not go into spending in terms of their lifestyle.
Exactly.
So they save that bit of it. Even if it's, so have a target, have a plan, just like you mentioned.
You have to have a plan,
and then save
build
towards
a capital.
it. You have your own capital. If you use your own money to start, you feel the pain.
You know how to manage the
Exactly.
business and to ensure it doesn't collapse.
Yeah, you will have to
So,
learn all.
your skin must get into
it's
the
true.
game.
You have to sacrifice.
Now, this question is to you, Miss Adams.
Yeah.
You get a lot of people coming to you wanting to start up their companies, wanting to grow their ideas into businesses. Maybe let's start on two. Some of the biggest misconceptions they come to you with. Somebody walks in and they feel like, no, if I start this and do that and I do that, this is going to work. And you tell yourself in your head, wow. What are some of the biggest misconceptions? I'll take two from you, Mrs. Amaka.
Interestingly, I mean, as if you're working with us, you have people come in and you are telling them this is how I think we can be able to help you. But they are coming in to tell you what they expect you to do for them.
Based on what they've heard. Okay.
And I mean, for me, I think one of the interesting things I've heard is competition, where they need to prove a point to somebody else. That, okay, maybe because Amma said I won't be able to run this business, this thing must work. But then you look at the entire business, most come without a business plan. I mean, that's okay. I mean, that's why Clay is here, to be able to, you know, prepare you. So we go to the extent of even preparing some of our clients to become investor ready. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you just sit back. You know, sometimes even with the team, we can just look at the business, we're like, this one, to be very honest, there's no potential. But hey, this is where we come in to be able to see how we can be able to make it happen. Then we have another challenge with the individual. Because if the individual is not mentally ready, is not ready to make the sacrifices, is not ready to commit, there's no way we can even help you. We have people that have come in, we have set meetings, they'll either be late for the meeting or they won't show up, you know, and then you are expecting, and you know, we are trying to also train these businesses to understand what professionalism is.
Yes, yes.
So we do very well with emailing. I mean, our first point of contact, we'll send you an NDA. People won't read it.
No, the Ghanaians.
So, you know, we go to the extent you will sit down, one of the team members has the time, we'll take you through, do you understand every word? We even have legal. So if we think we will just refer, just to take you through to understand. Because you are signing, you don't even understand it. So, I mean, for me, I pick these things once I engage a client. I can easily tell that you're going to be a problem. Then we ask, are we ready to go into this? Because if you're not even making time to read a simple NDA, you're not answering calls, you're not responding to emails, you're not making the time to meet, it becomes a challenge. So the need to prove a point, and then the individual being, you know, unready for, you know, their own idea.
Great.
Yeah, so for the misconceptions, number one, to the entrepreneur, everything is possible. So once they have a business idea, it will by all means succeed. So when they approach you, it's like they want you to believe as they believe.
Yes.
But we are also a very structured organization, and a lot of parameters are considered to give us the comfort that we have to really consider this. And then the second misconception is that you are the bank. So I'm speaking from the banking perspective. You have all the monies.
Yeah, there's money certain.
Yeah, so why can't you? Exactly.
Give me
So just
money.
give me the money to run my business. So if you don't, then the labeling comes in that, oh, these banks, they don't support, they don't do that, they don't do that. Forgetting that we are also custodians of people's money. And therefore we have to put proper structures, framework in place to be able to qualify a request.
Very important. And it's realistic, though.
Very. I mean,
these
for
are
us,
things, yes.
There was a time we used to think like that. Like, I expect these people to just give me money. But then we went back. You have to do your homework because you need to be able to keep proper books. They need to be able to tell that your business, I mean, if I'm able to put in, let's say, 200,000 Ghana cedis, you should be able to scale up. You should be able to pay me back. You understand? Without, you know, even you, the business owner, having any challenges. And it takes a while, like I mentioned early on, where you also have to go through all these processes to be able to understand and appreciate where some of these institutions are coming from. Because you put yourself in the situation, in their shoes. I wouldn't want to give money to anybody who doesn't have potential of paying back.
That's true.
I want to be sure that you can pay. If it means going to the extent of doing a background check to see if you can be able to pay. If you can't, it means whoever is using as a guarantor should be able to pay for you.
Wow. Very important. And I can strongly relate to this. We're currently in a system where people just expect so much and are not ready to be able to
entitlement.
Exactly. Well, yeah, the entitlement. Yes, that is one thing.
Culture.
Yes, if we touch on that today, we're not
leaving here.
Exactly,
Yes.
but it spans across a lot of fields, even in entertainment. You know, we find ourselves in a system where people are complaining so much about how people don't want to fund the entertainment industry, and that I'm in there, and I wouldn't want to put money into certain things that
You can't get the returns.
Yeah.
and so you tell, let me use an artist for instance.
Yeah.
You tell an artist, you know, you're good, you can rap, but how marketable are you? How do I make money from you? And they don't know. The main thing is, okay, you have money, why can't you spend on me?
Yeah.
But it goes beyond just spending. Nobody throws away money. Anyhow, especially these, I don't know about then, but in everything you do. So I'm just touching on all these so that if you're watching and your interest is in entertainment, you don't think you're left out. Everyone is involved in health, delivery, in tech, which is now the thing, in marketing, PR, entertainment in particular. If you have an idea, if you've learned all that we've mentioned today and you want to become an entrepreneur or you are an entrepreneur, make sure you have answers to these questions before you even approach somebody for funding. And if you're turned back or if you're turned down, know that there's something wrong. You need to go back to the drawing board and then check it out. Let me find out one thing from us before we get to your questions. So if you do have a question, kindly send it through, post it in the comment box. If you're on Twitter right now, just put in the hashtag ABSA ReadytoWork or ReadytoWork. Just tag ABSA Ghana and then they will just send the question through. How important is mentorship or coaching tips in entrepreneurship journey?
It's very, very important. You know, because you get to learn from a very, very experienced entrepreneurs who have gone ahead of you. They've made the mistakes, so they can pass on their experiences to you, so that you don't fall into the traps that they fell in, in the past. It helps you get some level of direction, okay? And then also they share best practice. You get to hear them share their best practice. Some of them even would take you to their setup. They would walk you through how they began and how they moved from one level to. So in the process, you get to learn. So it's a form of experiential learning experience. Okay, not the academics. So if you really want to have an experiential learning exposure, you have to sign up for mentoring or coaching program.
Yeah. And I mean, just to add to what Audrey's talking about, especially because of our students, when you're looking out for a mentor, it should be somebody you know will be very honest with you. We call them accountability partners, and we do have them. I have one who will not take any excuses, who expects that. I mean, I actually do have a gentleman who will constantly tell you that there are certain mistakes in business you shouldn't have to make them. They're easy to go around, sorry. But so for me, it's very important. You need to know who your mentor is. Ideally, it shouldn't be somebody you're familiar with. That way they can be able to tell you the truth. Because if I'm very familiar with you, I feel it's very hard for me to tell you the honest truth.
I can't really draw the line between being honest with you and
because, I mean, when I get emotional, I expect that whoever I'm speaking to is able to say, look, stop what you're doing. Let's face, the situation. You didn't do this right. You should have spoken in this manner. You should have handled this properly. So to all our students who are watching and even our viewers, you do need somebody who can be very honest with you. We call them accountability partners.
Yeah, and just to add to this, it's a very serious relationship. So this is not the relationship you get in and then you take it for granted. Remember, the entrepreneur that is giving you his 15, 30 minutes, even if you get 1 hour of a very seasoned entrepreneur, it's pricey. It's just that you can't pay for it. So you have to make sure that you take the relationship and the engagement so seriously. Exercises that are given to you, you go and get them done. You understand? And then also you come into the relationship with the curiosity mind to come and ask questions. Because you can't get into such a relationship, come and sit down quietly all the time and expect a mentor or a coach. Because I am a coach, we don't just give you answers. We unlock answers from you because we believe that everything you need to know is inside of you. So we will just ask, but you also must develop the ability to ask the questions to draw out the experiential knowledge within that person or individual.
I think Audrey has just summed up all we're doing today. We're just unlocking the skills. And that's the main topic for today, unlocking the skills, your skills in entrepreneurship. Now we're going to go for a few messages. After that, your questions will be on. Audrey and then Kuku will answer all your questions. Don't forget, this is Ready to Work, powered by ABSA.
Everyday life. Oh. Everyday life. Oh. Everyday life. Oh.
All right, so welcome back to Ready to Work, powered by ABSA. I'm still in here with Audrey and then Miss Kukua. We've had so much, to share with you guys in the first part of the show. In case you miss out on this, the stream will still be on our Facebook, ABSA Ghana. Just go back and then revisit it. So I'm going to take your questions now, and good morning going out to everyone watching. Big shout going out to Makafui Amponsa. I think he quoted a bit of what we said. Said your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
Enoch Asune says, very insightful so far. Thank you, ABSA. Now, my first question says, does someone who is doing buying and selling considered as an entrepreneur?
It's a big yes.
It's a yes.
Yeah. In fact, the customers that I manage, about I would say 80% of them are into commerce.
Yeah.
They buy and sell.
They just buy and
And
sell.
in Ghana, buying and selling
Is
the
no,
major.
yeah.
So just identify what needs to be bought so that you can sell it, right? Yeah, that makes it very simple. Next question, please let your panel differentiate between an entrepreneur and a businessman. This one, I can even answer, but let me let people answer.
So, I mean, from my perspective, an entrepreneur is somebody who has just started a business, But for me, a businessman is, I have a business, but I'm able to also exhibit business acumen towards my business.
Okay, so can an entrepreneur in the journey become a businessman?
Definitely.
Or they become a businessman when
I think there are stages.
Returns.
Yeah, because there are definitely stages you actually go through to be able to become that successful entrepreneur or a business person.
Audrey, do you agree?
Yeah, so in my company, for example, I call myself a businesswoman, though I may not own any, recognized business. But by the nature of our structure, we are trained to be entrepreneurs and we are trained to be business leaders.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can even be in the corporate world
Yeah.
and become a businessman or woman because of your training and then your knowledge about the business world.
Yeah.
An entrepreneur, somebody who decides to you have an idea, like I explained, that was my own interpretation.
Yes.
Entrepreneurship. You have an idea, you translate it into a business venture, and then you manage it to profit.
All right. Theophilus also answered. Good morning, Theophilus. Theophilus says, entrepreneurship is the pursuit of opportunity beyond resources controlled. I like that. We really like that. I think we just, acknowledge you for that on it. Please, how can we manage our work-life balance as an entrepreneur? Because all that we think of is work and ways to get money and barely pay attention to our personal lives. This is a very important question.
I think this I'll leave it for.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
Because I'm a full-time I'm a full-time
so-
entrepreneur.
Exactly. So work-life
Yeah.
balance keeps coming up, even in the corporate
Yeah.
environment. And like I indicated earlier, a lot of entrepreneurs who are very passionate to succeed. Initially, they actually sacrifice their initial pleasure
Yeah.
and then build a business, and eventually they begin to, seek for balance. Because when you are starting something, honestly, it will take a lot of your time.
Yeah.
And we all need to understand that there is a price to everything
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
every decision that we make.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to get into business or become an entrepreneur, assess the cost.
Yeah.
And ask
Yeah.
yourself whether I am ready to forgo this, forgo that initially. And when I build it up to a certain level, okay, which aspect of my life would I want to focus on?
Yeah.
Because at every stage in life and what is important to you, that is what the balance is. And when you talk about balance, I don't believe it, because you can never have a balance.
Yeah.
50% of your time is into your business, But what is important is that you look at all the aspects of your life. You have your educational life, you have your
personal,
financial
yeah.
life, you have
Yeah.
your relational life, you have your social life, you have your spiritual life. All of these are critical components of a human being.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to decide what portion of my time would I want to apportion to my spiritual
And
life.
definitely
And
discipline
once you're able
comes
to
in.
touch on all of this, I think you are balanced.
Your balance,
Yeah.
yes. You
It's
just have to
when
know.
there is a skew, a disproportionate skew,
Yeah.
okay, where everything is business and
Yeah.
all other aspects is forgotten. Then you are an imbalanced human
Then you
being.
know you have a problem.
But if you're able to touch on also, if you want to do that, then you need to create time.
Yeah.
And that is why I said that if you want to be that person, you need to make sure that there are certain things you need to forgo.
Yeah.
The phone,
I
you're
don't
very-
The phone.
She's very heavy on the phone.
I deal with you, and it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem. Once you get on social media and you are not using it to actually broaden your knowledge,
Yeah.
you can spend 2 hours, 3 hours just lying in bed,
Yeah.
and then,
Now, Audrey,
Scrolling.
the fear in that is even beyond what people are even considering now. What if I fund your business and you end up spending the money on
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, because you're
that's
almost always,
true.
you don't have what it takes to even start your own business, to
Yeah.
inject and start your own business, but you're, excuse me to say, holding the most expensive phone.
Yeah.
And your reason is you need to catch up tech-wise. Now, what if I fund your business and then the next phone comes out and
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
on it's number one on your priority list, you end up spending that. You might not be able to pay for it. So it's something we might want to consider. Next
Yeah.
question, please. Okay. Says, please, how can we deal with self-doubt? I think this has to go to you. Self-doubt and doubt from others as an entrepreneur. So I'm starting my business
yeah.
and I have a brilliant idea, but I don't believe I can do it because my colleagues, my study mates are saying I'm not very good at my books, but I definitely know I can do what I'm stepping out to do. How do I deal with that self-doubt, phase?
So just to take you back, some of us didn't start thinking it was, this was a brilliant idea.
Okay.
And we're going to put everything in. And it really started from simple bookkeeping and filing. That was about 6 or 7 years ago when I started alone until, it eventually became a business. And I can confidently tell you there were so many times where I thought I had given up. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I know that I'm not motivated, I'm not doing this anymore. And then you end up showing up. I strongly believe that as you go, you eventually build some level of capacity. You have a strong hold of your mental, health. So it's easy for you to actually spot where maybe let's say your triggers. What will make you actually want to not do this again? And for me, what has actually kept me going in terms of running this business has been the fact that I see clients happy. And for me, that is the greatest joy, knowing that a client came in. We've had instances where businesses came in, their staff strength was 6, and in about 2-3 years, 25, and they're doing so well. And for me, that just brings me joy. Even the fact that we have just one client who will be able to go forward with paying our onboarding fee, and then, there's just the fact that they strongly know that you can solve the problem, and we go all out to solve the problem. That's actually what keeps some of us going. Yeah.
I like that.
Okay.
Are you adding something to it?
Just something. You see, when you are starting a business and you yourself, you doubt whether you can
Means there's
do
a problem,
And you have a problem. How can you even convince me to believe in your business?
Like imagine
Yeah.
I come to you and I tell you I'm selling this thing, but
But-
see, try if you had cover yourself before you put it on because it might burn you.
So if you have that challenge, I think that this is where in the multitude of counsel, safety comes.
Safety comes,
Yeah.
So identify somebody who has actually told you that line before.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then go and engage. Okay, possibly the story of that person, how he started like you, felt the same way as you felt,
Yeah.
can strengthen you and build your confidence to take that first step. Because sometimes one statement, I remember there was an instance in my life, I wanted to do something. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't feel that I was the right person. But a higher authority
Yeah.
just telling me that you can do it. You have all that it takes. I didn't see, and I will help you.
Yeah.
Changed
Everything, yeah.
I like that. Message in here from Asante George on Facebook says, beautiful discussion. I have enjoyed every bit of the conversation today. Emmanuel Wilson says, thank you, Absa, for this program. Very helpful. I am a techpreneur. I actually have an accounting software in development. My team and I hope to launch the first version soon. I have some funding gaps I want to close. Any advice, please? I think we've shared so much on it.
Open the
Yes. Come.
startup
Yeah.
account.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the answer is right there for you. Come open the startup account with Absa and then talk to people like, Audrey and get all the information you are supposed to get. How can you deal with family interruption about your business? I think this will be our last question.
Okay.
Family interruption about your business. Or is it okay to employ your relatives when you are starting a business?
So for me, Clay, we have a rule. And because of the vision I have for the business, we have all our lay down, we have all the policies, we have our employee handbook, we have our code of ethics. I believe that if we're telling businesses to be able to do the right thing, and we don't have all these policies laid down, then we have a problem. Now, as part of our policies, we don't, well, for me, I don't hire family members. I think the reason is that it's always very difficult to be able to reprimand. It's easier for me to work with people I do not know, and it's safer that way because how I run the business or how I lead may be very different from expectations from family members. Now, when I'm at work, I'm a totally different character because I need to get into character. I need to get into, that mode. But when I'm at home, I'm a very regular person who, just likes to, chill.
So you don't want to bring that sense to your
Exactly. And
experience.
if people already know me from that perspective, that perception is already there.
it's
So they're
hard to-
coming in expecting that, this is somebody I can choose to come in at any time. No, at Clay, punctuality is very, very key. You can't come to work late. And it ties into everybody's KPI. So just imagine I have a family member or a friend, somebody's little sister, for example. It's always very difficult. And, because of the systems we've set in place, there's a board. So we would have to. And for me, it's easier that way because I know how I am. I'm very, I would like to say, okay, let me help. But then there's also a board. You have to have these conversations. Who are we hiring? Who are we even bringing on board? Is the person able to add value? You understand? So for me, it's a no-no. It's problematic.
Thank you so much. Let me take final words from...
No, so, it depends, okay? That family business also works. There are businesses that are set up by families. But it works when that family has an entrepreneurial mind.
Okay.
And they all believe in the right practices and principles that must govern the business. If they're able to do that, okay, it works. So you see the Indians and
they run it.
they run family business and it works so well.
Yeah.
That's because they
How
understand.
are they able to do that?
Yeah.
Exactly. So right from the beginning, I think that the rules are made plain.
Yeah.
And then they play by the rules and the game.
So your cousin doesn't think, I can just come to work
Exactly.
anytime.
Well, maybe
my
because we are
cousin
still
will not
growing
find-
eventually. But
we'll
for
get
now,
there.
no.
It's a no.
It's a
All right,
no.
so this would definitely be your final words. A
Yeah.
message from Innocent Awume says, I really like the MCF project. I think you mentioned that, implemented by AFSA. Can she share what the project seeks to achieve and how we can access this project? That should be the final one. It's very important.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much, Innocent. Just about 2 years ago, 2020, we signed this agreement with MasterCard Foundation. And the overarching objective was for us to create 50,000 jobs for young Ghanaians, especially young women. And to do that, where our strategy is to finance about 5,000 SMEs for 5 years. And as we finance you, we expect you to grow. And as you grow and you create employment, that is where the job is created. And also to build capacities for 5,000 SMEs. So those that we are funded, we are also training them. As I speak, we are working with 5 consultants, business development consultants, who are providing this capacity building trainings for the SMEs. And it's gone so well, very, very well so far. And we're also looking at how we can partner the government going forward on this whole new project.
All right, thank you so much, Audrey. Guys, enough has been said. ABSA is about your life, it's about your future. We're so focused on improving your lives as people, okay?
Yeah.
If you want to learn the right skills to fit into the world of work, you want to start up your own business, if you want to basically equip yourself with the right skills to stay alive financially, ABSA is the right place to come. So make sure you just walk into any branch, and beyond all that we've discussed, ask for the right services based on what you want, and then we'll definitely serve you. Beyond that, Ready to Work is a platform, as I mentioned earlier, created to help you equip yourself with the right skills. So it's an online-based, model. Go on there, choose your own pace. Whatever it is that you want to study, we have it all there for you. Study and then equip yourself to become the right individual to do the right things in the society we find ourselves in. The website is readytowork.absa.africa. Get on there now. If you're already on the platform, God bless you, and thank you so much for taking your own life into your hands. Big shouts going out to all the guys that watched it today that made it possible. Ready to Work has also developed an app. It's on the Google Play Store, it's on the iStore, that is Apple App Store, and it's on the Huawei device as well. So search for it, download, and then get into business right now. The time is now, Charlie. Time no day. Pick up your life now and take charge before things are late. I did this today with Audrey Abaka. She's head of SME banking at ABSA, and of course, Kukwa Adams, head and CEO of Clay Group. Thank you guys so much for making our morning a beautiful one. Of course, a big thank you to you for staying with us to make it happen. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. But share your experience, share your comments with us with the hashtag ReadyToWork on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we'll definitely share and retweet so your friends can see. My name is Eskin. It's been good hanging out with you this morning. Catch you on the next one. Good morning.
Everyday life, oh.